you are gonna see some cool ass shit.
Yeah, you don't want two Flavor Flays.
Heart transplants, brain surgeries. I've seen it all.
Dude, that's fucking dope.
Walk up and just get it, whatever it is.
Yeah, brother.
I'm trying not to laugh, bro, but Josh is fucking killing me.
Guess what Navy SEALs do, motherfucker? They communicate and they're on the same fucking page.
Whoa. Welcome everybody to the Happy Hoodlums podcast. We're back in full effect. It's your boy, the Happy Hoodlum himself, Mr. Kemper Woodruff. You should already know. We got the Meat Fortress up top, Mr. Zachary Sampson, and a very special guest, Mr. Miguel, Movie Time de la Rosa. What's happening, brother?
What an intro. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. So before we go into our bullshit, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to, bro? Nothing. I was working in the gym, at the gym for a while. While there were strikes in the film industry, I was working at the gym, kind of filling in the time. And I just put in my 2 weeks, and today is my second day unemployed. So I've been just kind of being a couch potato a little bit, just resting up before I actually go into my films.
Okay. All right. So I guess I'm the only one that hasn't worked at a gym yet. So you guys got one up on me there.
You're missing out, man.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks. It's a good time.
It seems like fun.
At the right gym, it's fun. Because like your boss was Nick, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He wasn't my boss. He was kind of like my coworker.
Okay.
But yeah.
But yeah, so like he had good company, and then at the gym I work at, it's good company. And so I've heard bad stories of people working in other gyms where it's an absolute shit show. So it's like it just depends on what gym you get into.
Our gym doesn't seem like the most organized gym. It just seems like, you can fuck around and not get fired.
Yes.
And just let people do their thing.
As long as dude, at Crunch, as long as you do your job, at least this Crunch, as long as you do the job that you were hired to do to a standard in which you're not like losing the keys or opening the gym 2 hours late or always showing up late or treating people like shit, you pretty much keep your job.
Yeah.
They don't. I actually show up late every day.
that makes sense though. Like if we track Miguel's track record in not high school but in college, it was that was one, bro. You were late every time.
Yep. No,
every day.
I never left.
That's why me and Miguel are not allowed to drink together, because I tell you what, when we got hammered in college, like hammered, bro, I don't even remember if you made it the next day, bro.
No, that was a crazy night. That was after we shot our music video, right?
Yeah. So we shot the music video and we went back to the house.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, bro, I thought I could keep up with you. And I couldn't. And just the thought of me keeping up with you, it like ignited a fire in you, bro. And yeah, it was a wild night.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Well,
back then I was crazy.
What do you remember?
Who, me?
Yeah, what was your last memory of that night?
The last memory, damn. I don't remember the last memory, but I remember waking up the next morning in my own living room on the floor.
Yep. Put to bed by yours truly. Bro, all right. We're gonna this is the ultimate bro time story. Okay, so we were going shot for shot. All of a sudden, I'm freestyling, and you just disappear, right? So me and Rob are freestyling, and you just disappear. I'm like, where the fuck did Miguel come from? And bro, you were in the bathroom just chilling, but you weren't taking a shower, but you were in the bathtub, like sitting up in the corner like this. And I was like, bro, what's going on? So we go and rescue you. You kind of get lost for a second, and the party's winding down. People are going back to their bedrooms and shit. I'm in the living room, right? I go to lay down to go to sleep, and I lay down, bro, and you're just naked with like a cape on. No, you were just naked, just standing there, like just looking. I was like, what the fuck? And it was hilarious. So I stood up
Yeah.
and I was like, I went and found a blanket and I just wrapped it around you like a cape. It was like, hey, bro, just go to sleep. You went to sleep. And I know Zach thought that story was so funny when I was
That's it.
remembering it that day.
Dude, that story was absolutely
Yeah,
hilarious.
that's a good man.
It was.
No, you and Robert both took good care of me that night because I was wilding.
Yeah. Tell me about it, bro. I wasn't ready to wake up and see you from this angle. Like, I was like, bro, because I'm looking into the hallway, like down this way. I'm like, it's all upside down nuts. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? But you were standing there like a captain, like waiting for a ship, like a fucking ghost, just on a pier, just looking. It was
I don't know
actually
what I was ready to do for, but I was ready, bro.
fuck yeah, dude. You came in your uniform, son.
Hey, it's not, I came into the world like that, bro. So
100.
that
You know
night was
what?
like me being reborn.
Yeah. Speaking of reborn, dude, you're also a fantastic trip sitter. You know, we were going over that. You know, the day that Zach did mushrooms for the first time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was a good time.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
How do you? I never asked you how you guys felt about it. I mean, I think we ended up splitting up at the end of the day, and I just never recapped with you guys.
Well,
How was
Zach
that
can tell you.
experience?
Well, the main thing that I can remember, one, it was absolutely fucking amazing. It was for me like one of the most like even though it wasn't like the most psychedelic like visual experiences, it was one of the more like impactful experiences I've had in my life. But like you were doing such a good job at just kicking it with us that I was worried about you having a good time the whole time.
I remember that.
Yeah. I was like, bro, are you having fun? Like, I'm asking you that. I'm like, you're enjoying this, right? And so I'm like, that was one of my thoughts, but, no, dude, like, I don't know how to explain it, but from that moment, for like the next year, I was the happiest I'd ever been. And
Wow,
dude,
really?
absolutely crazy. And I've microdosed a couple times since then, and it's been very enjoyable. And what I've noticed and what I've learned about mushrooms is that mushrooms have like at the dose that Kemper and I did it, um, that dose has benefits and reduces uh, symptoms of depression or depression entirely for like 6 months on one dose.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely amazing. And so it's like, not only am I thankful that you were just down to fucking ride with us on that day, but I've told so many people this, but you are one of my favorite people in the world. And I've told you this straight to your face before. And so to have you,
bro.
two of my favorite people in the world next to me doing that, it made it even better.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I remember taking this photo of you that I just sent to Zach.
Oh fuck! Let
And
me grab my phone real quick.
laughing so hard.
Oh, you sent it to
It's
me
in
on
your
Discord.
Discord.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, so I was so giggly because this shit had just set in. And I was like, dude, this looks so amazing. And I was like playing with my phone and I just took like the most normal picture of you just in this tree, just kind of like chilling. Like, get the fuck out of here. It looks like a yearbook photo or something.
That is a very
And it's so pointless. It's hilarious.
yeah. Let me see
Um,
if I can pull this up. You guys keep talking.
that was one of the more fun parts of that trip. But I also remember like I guess one of the more impactful things for me was the fact that I didn't really want to do them. Like full disclosure, it was really Zach was like finally
Mm.
ready, and I was like, all right, because they've always kind of scared me, you know. And so I was like,
Yeah.
well, I'm with Meegs, you know, I'm with Zach. We can do it, and I'm like, dude, he's depending on me to have this like this life experience right now, you know.
Mhm.
Um, because I really do think it is like a sacred medicine, bro. Because there's moments of it that's like funny, like taking that picture, and then there's other moments that was like trippy for me. Like when I got out of the car, we were parked on a hill, and I had my jacket on, but it was so hot I had to take it off, and I had like this drawstring backpack. So when I opened it up, it like the combination of me walking down this hill all wonky and like when I was putting my arm like in the bag to push this jacket in the bag, it felt like it was just like a black hole that went for like ever. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I got instant anxiety.
No, mushrooms. Yeah, mushrooms are crazy. I mean, I haven't done them yet, but me and my girlfriend have been talking about it because what Zach was saying, it helps with mental illnesses and stuff like that. So we've been wanting to kind of give that a shot to see how it works. But yeah, no, it's interesting what the magic of magic mushrooms are, for sure.
Dude, I don't know if you can join the live, Miguel, but I have the picture pulled up.
All right, let me
Dude,
see. I'll
that
try
thing
not
made
to.
it echo like crazy for me. But yeah. Um I think there's something to spending time with the boys though, you know? Like that in and of
Yeah.
itself, that kind of camaraderie is like healing, and it's almost like you go on this. It's intertwined with adventure, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. Even though I was just babysitting, I was enjoying the time with you guys and watching you guys go through it. I mean, I couldn't understand what was going through your guys' minds, but I could at least see like little glimpses of just like the brain doing the work, like trying to piece together and then at points I remember it getting deep. I remember we had deep conversations during that walk.
Bro,
Yeah,
I
Yeah, that was
remember
fun.
on like a lighthearted note before we get into the deep shit. I remember you catching me trying to play the guitar on like a wooden fence, like with like the wood grain. It was like because we were the I don't know if you remember the fence that we were stood at for like 45 minutes, but we were just standing at this fence and it was like a wooden fence and I'm sitting here like running my finger along the wood, the grains of the wood, and I look up at you, I'm like, dude, I just tried to play this like a
Yeah,
guitar, and you're like, I watched it. You're like, I seen that.
I think I remember telling me that. Yeah,
But yeah, there was a lot
yeah.
of deep
were
shit
there,
that I
were
learned
there
from that.
anxieties at all?
You said what?
Were there anxieties at all during the trip? Do you get that? You guys
Yeah,
remember?
yeah,
Really?
No.
yeah. So we
Well,
were walking around the. See, this is one thing, bro. I have to walk. Like exercise keeps me like calm, bro. And I
mhm.
think one of the things that I kind of like learned through that experience was when I'm scared, and this is for like anything, like an animal almost, like my tendency gravitates more towards like um I don't want to say like violence, but like hypervigilance, right? Um,
Mm,
and it's like rather than sitting and waiting for something to happen, I'm gonna, you know, figure a way out of that situation.
yeah.
And we were walking around the reservoir, and there was like three people that were like walking up to us, and it was weird. Like I felt their energy, and I mean, they were younger dudes, like, and I didn't realize that until we got like right up on them. But in my head, like the
No.
silhouette of them, and from a distance, looked just like somebody that I had beef with back in the day, right? So I don't know if
True.
it was.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "What, bro? We're gonna do this?" I was like, "All right." And then as we got like closer to them, and like my heart is like starting to like beat quicker, I'm getting an adrenaline dump. Um, I recognize that this isn't who I think it is. It's actually someone who's probably like in high school themselves, and it was just the energy, though. Like it was partially my projection, I guess, mentally, and like a lesson I needed to learn, and partially like
Yeah.
I don't know, that young male energy that's like, "What, son?" You know, when you're figuring out where you're at in the world.
Mm.
See, with those same
So did.
kids. Oh, go ahead, Miguel.
Oh no, you go first.
With those same kids, I had the absolute opposite reaction when we were approaching them. So the same dude that
Oh,
you thought was the guy that you had beef with was someone that I thought looked exactly like my childhood best friend. And
Whoa.
yeah. And so like I was all cool. I was chilling. And then when we passed him and you're like, I almost just fought that guy or whatever the fuck you said. I'm like, what? I'm like, what the fuck's going on right now? But yeah, that was
Yeah.
fucking yeah. The whole time you were on like this and like before that though, you were kind of in that same mindset. So maybe that kind of like trickled in or got amplified during the trip, but like before that you had even been kind of a little bit on edge when we were just
Yeah.
walking around with our ice cream and shit.
Dude, it happens.
I.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Bro, we did a lot of shit that day. We went to Burgers, I think, and then we went from Burgers and got ice cream on Woodstock. We went down and we sat at this like park and talked for like an hour about this cool ass
Oh yeah.
movie idea. And then we were driving back to
Yeah.
Kemper's house and decided to do mushrooms once we got back.
And I think we started wanting it. Well, you guys wanted to start to get into mushrooms because at the park, I remember us having just like deep talks, like just random deep talks. I don't know if they were deep talks or more like high thoughts of like random things, aliens, so what and so forth. But I remember us having deep thoughts, and then someone wondering like, I wonder if this is what it is like to be on mushrooms. I think it was Zach. It must have been Zach. And then Kemper was like, "Oh, well, I got some at home."
Yeah, I think that is how it went down. We were talking about like some interdimensional movie plot, where
Mm.
some dude gets like imprisoned, and like when you get imprisoned, it's like a cryotherapy or some shit, and then you have to go to like another realm.
Yeah.
And Zach was like, but what if he figures out how to get out of it, And he's been in there for like 1,000 years just creating this fucking epic plan of like coming back and getting revenge on everybody. So we had this like crazy plot of a movie, and this dude's level up of like rather than like gaining his wisdom for like positivity, like going on an absolute savage like revenge because he was placed there
Mm.
um, for a reason he
You
felt
guys have
was.
good memories.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just remember shit that I have like that impacts me. So like that whole day, like for you it was like you were kind of just babysitting two stoners, but like for me it was like one of the most important days to date of my life. So it's like, you know,
That's fucking
So
cool.
I don't blame you though. So it's okay.
I think
Damn, I think I need to do mushrooms.
it's really interesting how we had this like yin and yang experience though. Like with
Mm,
that guy of like, and that's why I say it's kind of like projection because I was in this like anxious like state, you know, where I felt really
mm,
like vulnerable. And that I think that's one thing that mushrooms in particular do. Like at least for me, like they've always affected me in that way where I feel like extremely exposed and like vulnerable. And I don't know if it's something just like deep seated in my like psyche or something, but it's absolutely like prevalent throughout my experiences with them. And I always have like this reset of like it's like a refreshing of my energy when I'm done. Like if you rebooted a computer that was awake too long. Um and I don't know what it is about that, but that's just how it works for me.
Yeah, I was about to ask you if you felt the same things that Zach did afterwards. Like, were you like, I don't know, had the happiest you've ever been, or did it
I
not
have
affect you that same way?
so when we were standing at the fence and we were just kind of looking out, we were
Mm-hmm.
looking at the sunset and kind of looking down Hawthorne. And I
Yeah.
was just watching the trees kind of move in the wind and circulate. And that was one of those moments where I was like, okay, like this is kind of super duper serene. And when we were coming back down the mountain as it was getting dark, there was like a concert and people were kind of like raving in the park. And I just
Mm-hmm.
remember looking at that like what a beautiful like euphoric gathering of people that were just here at the perfect time, all with this like peaceful intention of just gathering together here for fun. And I thought that was dope.
I do remember that. Yeah, that was a beautiful day.
Yeah. Sometimes things just
Yeah.
come together that way, bro. And I feel like they're not always beautiful in that same sense, like in that joyful, like adventurous sense. But life is always a beautiful story arc when you really like take a far enough step back to look at what's
Mm-hmm.
happening on a conscious level by going through what you're going through, whether it's positive or negative, I guess, you know?
So Zach, will you ever do them again or what?
Oh, bro, yeah. Say
Really?
what? Like I've wanted to do them for the last few months, and me and my girlfriend actually want to do them together too. So
Oh,
it's
that's
like yeah, it's one of those things. But I just haven't had the ability to get any. So and I got
yeah.
tired.
It's
I feel bad for bugging Kemper to help me out. So I'm like, all right, I'll
Hey,
just let him come to me.
you,
he's
I reached out to Kemper too.
Oh shit.
yeah. Um I haven't been in that phase of life for a long time. But what I can say is there's something really uniquely bonding about experiencing moments where people are super vulnerable, you know? And I think that's at the premise and kind of the core of it and why psychedelics are an interesting bonding experience because they kind of like take back this veil of order that we have, you know, where I can
Mhm.
see things the way that when I think I'm only physical. I guess that's the way I can put it. And it takes like this sixth sense that you have, like your spiritual senses, and puts it right at the forefront of what you're going to experience. And you realize it's like, no matter
Mhm.
what I do in this physical world, like it's really that is the backdrop, right? Almost like a screen. And my consciousness and the emotions and senses that I have in my non-physical like body, right? I guess or astral consciousness, whatever. I'm my soul. I'm projecting onto this screen, and then I'm seeing it play back to me as I'm living through this like life. Um, and that becomes really evident when you're on psychedelics. And if you're unfamiliar with that, um, and unfamiliar with yourself, oh man, it can be a fucked up place to be, and you
Mm,
need someone that you can trust to actually kind of guide you through it and to make sure that like they're centered in their peace and that they give you peace to feel whatever you're feeling in that
mhm,
moment.
yeah. It's crazy that this thing that just grows from the freaking ground affects us so deeply. Like, and the things that we don't know about it is what makes me so intrigued by it. I don't know. It's just crazy that this thing that just grows in the freaking ground can change and alter our views of life.
Bro, there's
Yeah.
like mushrooms. Like let's forget about like the hallucinogenic stuff and just talk about mushrooms themselves and where they come from. Supposedly, mycelium, which is the actual like organism that grows the mushrooms, mycelium comes from
Yeah.
fucking space, and it can
Whoa.
survive
Hmm.
in space. Yeah, and so not only does it survive and can or may have come from space, but it also connects the entire ground, like the forest and all the vegetation around it. So it's
Yeah, the root
used,
structure.
yeah, and so it's used as not just like a messaging system for plants to like communicate, but it also helps transfer like nutrients and shit. Um,
That's
dude, and it's fucking wild. And like, not just like if we've talked about hallucinogens and we can continue to do that, but um, there's tons of other mushrooms that are medicinal. So like lion's mane, for example. And if you look at lion's mane,
mhm,
it's it is similar to some structure in the brain. It looks like a certain structure that's in the brain. And lion's mane is a mushroom that aids the brain in thought. And there's also mushrooms that look
mhm,
like the alveoli or something like that in your lungs, which helps you with breathing. And so it's like these mushrooms
mhm,
not just mimic uh, the parts of our body that it helps, but it like literally helps those parts of our bodies, which is fucking amazing.
mhm. I ate some lion's mane. Uh, I want to say like about a year ago, but I don't even know if it was real lion's mane or not because the way it affected my body, and maybe this is just my body, but it made me so hazy, like,
Really.
and so that's why I want to try them one more time because the time I bought them, it was in pill form,
Mm.
and I never did my research. I never did anything. I just bought the first one that I saw, and so I started taking them. And like on the second week, I was just my mind was really hazy, and I feel like I couldn't think or speak well when I
Damn.
was
Okay.
eating those. Yeah. But I have heard. I mean, I have heard what you have said about how it just kind of helps you do the opposite. Basically, it helps the brain reorganize itself, and I don't know, but I need to give it one more try.
Doing
Yeah.
mushrooms and like having that trip was like to go back to like Kemper's vulnerability talk. It actually
Yeah,
cured me of a lot of anxiety. Um,
really.
and so like, well, yeah, because I realized what uh was going on in the world. I realized how the world
Hmm.
actually works. And so like, if you think like a video game, right, has a loading distance. So within that distance, you can see whatever is within that distance, and then as you get further and further out, it gets less and less detailed. Um, and
Hmm.
so when we were sitting at that fence and we turned around to look at everybody, um,
Yeah.
everybody had no faces. So like if you think like
Hmm.
Slenderman, just smooth face,
Yeah.
that's what everybody around us had until they came within like 5 feet of us. And so what I realized was the people around you, unless they are directly like next to you, don't necessarily have any impact on your life currently. And so I was like,
That's true.
oh
Yeah.
shit. So now I only really care about the people that are within a certain distance of me. Not like not like care about, but like I don't worry about what people might think from across the road, right?
That's cool.
Um,
Yeah.
and so that fixed a lot of that because I was like, damn, all right, people are like essentially NPCs walking around until they get close enough for me to interact, and then it changes the game. But that was something that I learned. I
That's
was like,
cool that you
fuck.
saw that. It's cool that you saw that and didn't get freaked out.
Yeah,
Because
no.
that sounds like a scary thing to watch, but you were like good vibes all the whole day.
Well, dude, like the thing is too, and I attribute that to the shit vision that I have because I'm used to things being blurry and I'm used to not being able to see things very well. And so like not being able to see people very well in a twilight lit kind of environment, to me that's not freaky. I'm just like, oh, okay. But because the mushrooms were there, it gave me some type of like eureka moment, like a breakthrough that I could use and apply it. So like whether it was like my vision or the mushrooms making people's faces smooth or blurred out, um, it was fucking impactful regardless. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the hope for my girlfriend and I to fucking take those and have our anxieties kind of chill out a little bit.
Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, hey, if they don't,
Yeah, I've heard a lot of testimonies about it. Yeah.
yeah, I go like do pretty much do what we did, bro. Just go on a hike, be in nature, because that's the whole point, you know. It's like
Yeah.
I read this thing. No, I didn't read this thing. I was listening to a podcast. This guy talks about the importance of greenery when growing up. And so it shows there was like this study that showed like correlation between growing up outside of the city, where you're surrounded by trees and nature and you're actually getting out into nature, um,
Mm-hmm.
in comparison to like mental health. And so even when those kids who grew up out in nature and shit came to the city, they tend to have a better sense of self and better mental health than people who were born and raised in the city. And so it's like when if not just nature itself, but actually the color green is a powerful fucking color. Um, so if that's the thing and you're wanting to have that type of experience, I would just say go out into the fucking nature and just have a good time.
Yeah.
Frolic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's balancing for a lot of reasons, being in nature like that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting that you say that because I never heard that, but I've just kind of like intuitively understood it, I guess, through my own experience. Not that I was like out in the country all the time, but like when I was really little, my grandparents lived in Vernonia,
Mm-hmm.
so we would be out in Vernonia a lot and just kind of running around playing in like the forest and things like that. And I remember when my mom and dad, like when I was really, really little, they were like super poor. So we would go out into like Tryon Creek and like different parks and like gather sticks for like firewood. And we would all have like a little backpack on and just like put sticks in a little backpack. And I remember that as like some of the most fun times ever. But what we were doing was like really purposeful, on a deeper level.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. No, I feel very lucky to be born in Hood River, where there was just a bunch of greenery all over, not in the city.
Yeah, dude, like
City can be depressive sometimes.
dude, you ain't lying. Like when I went back to Cascade Locks, I had this moment where I was smelling the air, and I said to my dad, "Dude, the air out here smells so fucking good." And he's like, "Yeah, well, the city has dog shit air." And like, I'm like, "Dude, that makes so much sense, and I love it." And it's kind of a high. Like you get kind of high when you're breathing quality air. And like fortunately with like you
Yeah.
living in Hood River and me living in Cascade Locks, two relatively small towns. Cascade Locks absolutely small. Hood River like small and like a
Yeah.
big scale, but that was kind of just the
Yeah.
culture of those two places. Like everybody in Cascade Locks and most people I observed enjoyed the outdoors in Hood River. And so it was like that was just like the thing you did.
Yeah.
And so in Cascade Locks, you went on fucking hikes, you went swimming, or you just did something outside because that's all you had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like that shit is so fucking awesome. I love being outside, and I've been craving it so much lately. So fucking much.
It's crazy how underappreciated I was with the stars.
I've never seen them.
Like,
Yo, what?
oh shit.
I've never seen stars.
My bad, Zach.
Bro,
Yeah.
you just blew my mind.
Bro,
Yeah.
We gotta go to
that's
like
my bad.
desert.
Well, we have to go to somewhere where stars are
desert?
like actually bright because my eyes perceive light, like dim light, very terribly, and so I think that that's partially why I've never seen stars. So, yeah.
So what do
Yeah.
you see?
N-
If you don't mind me asking,
Darkness.
we don't have to get into it. But
Just black.
Really?
Yeah, I just see the night sky. That's all I
Wow.
really see. And it's like I've seen like shooting stars, but like faintly. But the closest I think I probably got to seeing stars was our graduation party, our college graduation party. I think that's the closest I probably would have ever gotten.
Oh yeah.
At Emily's?
Her boyfriend's house at the time. I forget his
Yeah.
name, but yeah,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that was cool. Just looked up in the sky. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, dude, you and I were just chilling in the fucking grass for like an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We weren't even on mushrooms.
no,
We were like vibing.
we had been drinking, and that's about it.
Dude, but like you don't need substances to enjoy that shit. Like
No,
we
for
go-
sure.
Yeah, I remember.
we go hiking, me, my buddy Alex, and my buddy Scott. And so our thing is like every year hiking a different mountain, right? And we went down to like the Bend area to hike South Sister. And when we drove up, it was the early morning. So it's like pitch black, like absolute darkness. You can't see across the street. It's just black. And if you look up in the night sky, you see so many stars. It is the most beautiful thing. And we were outside just like,
Yeah, it's
whoa,
cool.
it makes so much sense why people would like nerd out on this back in the day and figure out, where things were. And the aliens probably helped them too.
Oh yeah, facts.
Shout out to the aliens.
Big ups.
But
Yeah, that's crazy how we don't have that perspective anymore. Like we just like people back in the day, they didn't have much to nerd out. So the things that were available, they'd be nerding the hell out with like the stars, the water. Like
yeah,
that's crazy to think about. I never thought about it.
even plants as medicine. So like in Peru, the medicine men and like the shamans in Peru like basically will spend time cleansing their systems, and then they'll just choose like one plant, and all they do to like break the norm of what they're eating, I guess, is add this one plant and like spend time with it. And as they eat it and try it in different ways, they'll observe what it does to their consciousness and how their thoughts change when they have this in their system. And then they go, oh, like this is what the relationship between this plant and like your psyche does. And so it's really almost like looking at things like fuel in a car, right? How does this burn versus something else? I don't think that's kind of a clunky analogy, but it works more or less.
Well, I would say the analogy is essentially like a medicine man's a personal trainer, right? And so it's like they've gone through the trial and error. They know that, certain sets and rep schemes help you better, and they're essentially doing that with plants and medicines, and so they're trying things out, figuring out the best way to use them, and then they're passing it on.
I love that you just took that to a super gym bro level. That was fucking awesome. It's like, no fool. Everything is sets and reps. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's either you're getting big or you're getting small. Pick one.
Good old medicine man Samson over here.
Damn straight.
But hold on, let's recap for some of the folks, some of the film projects that you've been on and that you've worked on. Especially since I haven't
Oh,
figured that out in like years from you.
yeah, man. I mean, a whole bunch of things. I was on a show. The very first show I ever did was Timmy Failure. That was a Disney kids movie. That was a lot of fun. That was probably the one that I memorized best because it was my first one. And then I went from that to Pretty Little Liars. Uh, I had done a soccer documentary on the Timbers. Uh, I've done sort of like a rock star for Netflix. Um, yeah, man. Those are the ones top of my head, but those were a lot of fun.
Were they ongoing? Like, how long were these film projects taking for you?
So for the most part, like one job will last anywhere from 1 to 2 months. That's like kind of like the norm. Like a movie can get done pretty quickly. It can be done in like 4 weeks. Uh, TV shows, those take a little longer. Those take about a good 2 months sometimes, depending on the show. Obviously, I'll be working on an Amazon show that I have no idea. I have no information, but that one's gonna be for like 5 months.
Dope.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I was always super like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say like jealous, but like I had a lot of admiration for people in our like film class that actually got into the industry because it was so fucking hard at that
Hmm.
time. And
Yeah.
honestly, like I don't think I had like the drive at that time, which is hilarious. Like just
Hmm.
full out. Like I wasn't doing all the internship things that like other people were doing, or even fighting for it. Really, I was like, I'm gonna do my own shit, and I mean, thankfully, this is where we wound up out of going that route.
Yeah.
Um, but while you were doing that kind of
Hmm.
stuff, I was always like, that is so fucking cool. Like, it's a dream of mine to really get into the industry on like film sets and be in films again. Because I was always like the stunt guy. They were always like, "Hey, we need someone to do this," and I was like, "All right."
The stunt and
But
sound guy.
being the sound guy fucking blows, dude.
Oh yeah.
Especially on a low budget. Oh man, low budget sound guy. You're just
Why
tucked in
is
the
that?
weirdest spots. You're just in the weirdest spots, bro, and you're just stuck stagnant like this. And like I remember we were filming something and it was like one of the class projects out in the gorge and it was so cold. It was like the wind was like 50 miles an hour and all I'm hearing is for like hours, bro. Full speed. Does that sound all right? Yeah, it's authentic. I'm like just sitting there, and any piece of my hand that's exposed is freezing. I'm holding a metal pole that's fucking so cold, and I'm just stuck like this, just trying not to be in frame, bro.
The one time that I did audio, I fucked it up. And it was
That
for
was
Miguel. All the entire project's audio was absolutely dog shit because of me, and he couldn't use it. So I was like, I felt so bad. I still feel bad about that.
Was that the music video?
I don't remember that. Well,
No, it was like a skit that we had to do, and we were like, I don't know the name of the street, but we were in Hood River, and we were like walking down the sidewalk, and I was running audio, and I guess I was hitting double. I was double hitting record, so I was hitting record and then hitting stop at the same, like right after that. And he had like absolutely zero audio, or it just wasn't like, or he had audio files that just had no audio on them, like something wasn't recording. And so I was like, oh fuck. And I wish I remembered the project, but yeah, it was yeah, I fucked that on up. I didn't do audio after that.
Hey, but that's what it was for, though. It was for us to learn about,
Exactly.
everything and about making mistakes. So I'm sure you learned a lot from that one.
Yeah,
But
I learned not to do audio.
that's a perfect example of why you're just such a chill personality, Miguel. Like you just laugh at some shit and like, dude, I remember doing Zach's film and being like, this is one of the coolest fucking things that we've done, like bar none in this class. I think Zach's film was like the coolest.
I was mad
100%.
about that because it didn't turn out how
Why?
I wanted it, and not
Yeah.
not because of anyone or anything specifically, but I had to cut so much out of it. It was essentially a 4 scene movie, 4 scene 5 minute short film, and I had to cut so much out of it because I couldn't get enough people to help me do it.
Yeah.
And because I couldn't get enough people to help me do it, I had to like shrink it down. But I was like, it would have been such a cool fucking film if I would have got to do what I wanted to.
Did you learn anything from that or like take any lessons? Because, side note for the viewers, Zach helped everybody. Like, he was the one person that I think had like credit on every film. Actually, I think I also had credit on like 80% of the films because no one had a sound guy. I was the only dude that did sound. So I just heard for fucking every film. But it was kind of dog shit audio. Zach actually had like high quality input on the film, but did you take anything away from that experience of being like, what the fuck, dude? No one helped me, but I helped everyone.
This is how I approach all of my not just romantic relationships, but interpersonal relationships and friendships now. And this may have been sparked from this. I don't know where it came from, but eventually it developed into my brain, and now this is how I've built like really strong friendships and like a really solid circle. I only put effort into people who put effort into me. And so I reciprocate the same amount of shit that you give me is the exact same amount I will give you. And so if, for example, let's go back. If someone were to be like, "Hey Zach, will you help me on my film?" Yeah, will you help me on mine? No. Oh, okay, well then I'm not gonna help you on yours. That's how it goes for me from now on. And so that's kind of what I learned is like if you're not willing to help me, I have no room for you in my life. I don't care how selfish or like self-centered that is. I'm willing to give you every ounce of time that I have whenever you need it. If you're willing to at least just give me something. That's all. I don't care how transactional that sounds, but that's how I've built the circle that I have. I have dudes like there's dudes at the gym who I've literally cried on their shoulder. Like literally, sitting at the front desk just broke down. And you two, I've done the same thing with you two, right? Miguel, through like the beginning ish of COVID and just before that, you and your girl were active in inviting me out and getting me to do social things. And that was fucking huge for my mental health. And so since you guys did that, I've been fucking all in with you guys ever since. I've told you straight to your face also, you two are my favorite couple in this world. And Kemper does the exact same thing. He's given me so much of his time and he's been there for me through a lot of shit. And so I've done the exact same thing. I've reciprocated that. And that's what I think, personally, builds strong ass fucking bonds. If you're willing to do shit for each other and that's how you progress the relationship, that's how it should be. And so that's what I learned.
Yep.
Everyone who didn't help me, fuck you.
You know what was cool though? Did you guys work on Matt's film?
Yes.
The fucking horror movie film. It was like a music video,
Yeah.
but for his like rock band. That shit was awesome.
I was the second
No.
unit
Oh.
second unit camera guy.
Yeah.
That shit was dope.
Yeah, I think that might have
Yeah, that
actually
was
been the coolest one.
Living rigor mortis or something.
Was that
like
was that his
Living rigor mortis.
was that his senior project, or was that just his passion project?
That was a passion project. His final project for the class was the documentary on Second Avenue Records.
He killed it, bro. We gotta catch up.
Facts.
Oh, I see him at work a lot.
Really?
That guy's fucking cool. Yeah,
Dude, you gotta tell
he's
him
fucking awesome.
he's gotta come on the Happy Hoodlums podcast, bro.
Damn
He
straight.
went all through fucking
Oh.
like Europe partying and being in a metal band. That's about like as cool as it gets, dude.
Honestly.
100%.
Oh no, I'll tell him. I'm sure he'd be happy because that guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah. We'll have Miguel invite him. That'll be cool. You guys got any thoughts before Bigfoot comes out to try and steal Miguel off his deck?
Or the mosquitoes start eating him alive and shit.
Yeah, no, they already started the feast.
Oh fuck. All right. I mean, I don't have much to else to add. We can all. I mean, fuck. Obviously, Miguel, you're always welcome back on. We've had so many guests come back on, so don't ever feel like you're intruding if you ask. So you're more than welcome.
Hell yeah.
And bro,
Thank you guys for having me. It was.
Yeah, thank you for having like one of those bro pointless fun episodes for us. You know what I mean? Because oftentimes when we're interviewing people, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta have like this like agenda. And with you, it's like, nah, bro, like we're truly just shooting the shit, and I enjoy that.
Same.
That's cool. Yeah, well, thank you guys for having me on. That was a lot of fun. It's like hanging out, but through a screen.
Hey, but you'll see me Thursday, baby boy, okay?
You guys hanging out without me? What the fuck?
You want to hang
Bro,
out?
they always do this.
Come through.
Do you want to hang out, Kemp?
No, not anymore.
All right, be that
Not
way.
the same.
Be a little wiener.
What are you guys doing?
No
we'll
idea.
pick you up. Regardless.
Yeah, we'll
I
swing
just
by.
imagine when you guys say that you're hanging out, I imagine like Miguel and Allison walking hand in hand, and then Zach on like the other side, like holding hands. Like,
It's usually a shoulder. It's usually a shoulder.
It's about his third.
No. How he described it is perfect.
Yeah, his hands are nice. What can I say? Anyways, all right, all right. We can end the recording now. See you guys next week.
Alrighty, yes.
We started with Miguel naked and ended with holding hands.